Hey, this is day three of our Pan Canadian Advent calendar reveal. So today, a white wine from British Columbia. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Cheers.
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country, happy Sunday. It's day three of our Pan Canadian Advent calendar reveal. So, Mira Boucher, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty awesome, Carl Boucher. I have something really delicious in my glass. Is it?
Oh, darn right it is. This is, yeah, it is freaking world class. It sure is. That's going to be a fun one. We have someone in the green room, a live interview coming up with you for you guys. But yeah, I'm back home. I'm finally back in my office. It's back like a couple minutes ago from the great Marriott, BC. So it was a heck of a hockey tournament, guys. I'll tell you one thing. So we had fun out there. So now I'm back in the comfort of our own studio here. So it feels good to have my backdrop, not the brown curtain of the Marriott Motel. I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think before we start on our reveal, I just want to say one quick little thing because it was until tonight, Noble Ridge weeks here at Carl's Wine Club. We featured the wines of Noble Ridge. And I had another sip of that 2018 King Ransom Pinot Noir over the weekend. And geezy moly, that this wine is good. Oh, and I really like, Mira, the way with the email that we put together over the weekend about the double, the Geneva double curtain, the trellis system. I think we nailed it like on the head, and the whole thing with the full body. I was tasting this wine with other parents at the tournament, and wow, how full body and the structure of that one, it was something really unique. People were like, holy smokes. But anyway, I just wanted to a little shout out to Noble Ridge, our weekly our feature this week. So yeah. So how are you doing? How do you feel about tonight?
Oh, good. I'm so disoriented because we have Wine Wednesday every week. And so now every night we're revealing a different wine, and now I'm like, what day is it? Is it Wednesday again? What's happening?
Yeah, I know. Sunday night. So let's recap quickly. 2 nights ago, we started with reveal number one. We were in Nova Scotia. We hosted Jean-Benoit Deslauriers, winemaker at Benjamin Bridge, with the outstanding underrated Carl's wine. I underrated that wine, a 92 plus. I got complained from all over the country that wine should be rated much higher. We had the non-vintage reserve traditional method. So that was reveal number one. Yesterday, we hosted Eliza Mazzi, winemaker at Malivoire Estate. So she works with Shiraz at Malivoire. And we had revealed the 2021 Malivoire Courtney Vineyard Gamay, the crown jewel of Gamay in Niagara. This is the Beamsville bench right here. So at day three, we haven't stepped foot in British Columbia just yet. So it is the absolute time to jump in British Columbia, to be in the Okanagan Valley, and to have a wine from the Okanagan. And to start with our reveal number three, I have to say this is from the northern part of the Okanagan. We have a white wine. Like, and as we sent our recommendation, this one had to be chilled. So yeah, a white wine. And like Daryl says, in Ontario here, the bottle shape is a good clue. Absolutely, it's a good clue, Daryl. I like that here. So Mira, what do we want to do? Do we want to bring our guest right away?
Well, yeah, let's open this up.
Let's open this up. Because I already have a bottle open here and it's in my glass and it smells absolutely outstanding. So Carl Wine Club members, everyone who had their wines with us, yeah, that's number 3 here.
I mean, you can guess. So Daryl did this. We told him not to shake the bottles, but like with presents, you can guess, right? So a lot of people probably could tell the first one was a bubbly because the cage on top, you can feel it. The second one was more of a wider bottle. This one is like tall and thin, and we know it's a white wine because we told you to put it in the fridge. So, I mean.
So Rob Yoneda says, O'Rourke Chardonnay. No, Rob, you're in the right region. You're in the right region, but we have a tall bottle here. So it's Riesling bottle. It's a Riesling bottle. And come on, Mira. There you go. Tantalus. Old vines, Rieslings. This is the 2021 vintage, an absolute beauty, 93 plus points, Carl's Wine Club, world-class Riesling. For our listeners, or people who follow us for a long time, we know that our Riesling standard, like the word, like that rock star level, the Suan Roberts block usually comes in mind. This is right there, absolutely right there at the very top level of our standard in terms of Riesling, authentic, really, really pure, really crisp, great texture, and so much depth, so much complexity. So we're going to dig a little deeper into that wine because we have someone very special here with us.
Yes, it's so exciting because we have not featured Tantalus in Carl's Wine Club before. We're 4.5 years into our winery discoveries as a club. We have not yet featured Tantalus, but holy smokes, is this an amazing wine? Carl, do you want to
remember, Mira, this summer for the first time, we had their Chardonnay, but we also had the Rosé at the Rosé Marathon. The Rosé really, really stood out at the Rosé Marathon. Absolutely. So now, I mean, we know that these guys, they don't fuck around. We know it. These guys are absolutely, like, they're on the balls. They're so good. And
Carl says it. They're on the balls.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we are. And this is a very special block because like these are from old vines, some of the oldest vines in the Okanagan. And when I'm talking complexity and layers, that's where it's from. And also from the winemaker. So we're going to hear from the horse's mouth in a few seconds. So Mira, whenever you're ready.
Who is jumping on with us is David Patterson.
Patterson?
Winemaker.
I think, to my understanding, David is the everything. I think he's the owner, part owner, winemaker. Well,
he's going to tell us in a second. David, thanks so much for coming on the show. Taking time out of your busy Is it Sunday?
It is Sunday. It is Sunday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dave, thank you for taking some time on the Sunday to join us. I mean, it's really, really appreciated. Exciting time here at Carl's Wine Club. Every day, we're revealing a new wine from all over the country, hosting winemakers. So thanks for doing that. This wine is freaking fantastic. So how about we start about who you are and your winery? So can you tell us a little bit more about Tantalus and yourself, Dave?
Of course, yeah. So, Tantalus is in the Okanagan, just outside Kelowna. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me properly. We were having a little bit of audio issue, but great. Okay, great. And so we're just outside Kelowna, in the East Kelowna slopes, sub GI, which myself and Taylor from Cedar Creek, now Mission Hill, had a lot to do with setting up over the last few years. So it really, it's a special piece of dirt where we are here at Tantalus. Originally, the Pioneer Vineyards, owned by the Dulick family. They were the ones who were part of the project to go and get these special old vines from Germany in the 70s and planted in 1978, along with the Sperlings, along with some stuff at St. Hubertus, right along this area of Kelowna, really, and also out in Niagara. So there's a lot of history between Ontario and BC because of that Riesling project, really trying to work out if Vitis vinifera could work in our crazy climate that we all face every year. And they're still alive, which is great. We obviously, most people will know, had a very challenging winter last year and then very challenging growing season this year. But pleased to say that those old vines, for the most part, have survived. And so we will still be able to make old vines Riesling, which has become a very special bottling for the wine world of Canada, and certainly for Tantalus. Lots of accolades internationally for that particular wine, as well as locally. And it's one of those wines that I look at as if it's not broke, don't fix it. The winemaker before me, who set up Tantalus, defined the style back in 2004, 2005. And I still use exactly the same yeasts, techniques, everything that Matt Holmes used to, because he had defined a wonderful style that's close to bone dry. It drinks like it's bone dry. It actually has about 9 grams of residual sugar usually. But
that I was pretty surprised when I was reading the technical sheet, because like you mentioned, on the palate, it tastes, it drinks almost bone dry. But there's the little hint into the texture. There's that rare around this texture and that kind of a softness into that bright acidity that it a little bit tells you that there's a bit of RS in there. But 9 gram, I was quite surprised though.
Yeah, I think, when I first got here from New Zealand, or via Australia, when I came to BC to start making wine, I was shocked by the chemistry. I mean, I'd never seen any numbers like that. And so I was ringing Matt, my predecessor, who he and I worked together in New Zealand many, many moons ago in the early 2000s. And so I'd rang him and just said, what do I do here? It's 21 bricks. So the alcohol is going to be, I need to pick it to keep the alcohol, in check. But the acidity is still 14 grams. I mean, what am I looking at here? And he said, but does it taste good? And I said, yeah, it tastes fantastic. I've just never seen this kind of chemistry before. And so I just picked it and made it. And I think what we find, which I've found very interesting over the years making this wine, is that these vines, they hold on to acidity really well, but they also gain so much dry extract. So dry extract being everything that would be left over if we evaporated a liter of wine. Most reds are in the 22 to 26 gram range of dry extract, and whites are often down around 15, 16 grams, somewhere in that range. The great wines of the Alsace, the dry Rieslings, have and Chardonnay in particular from Burgundy, have a higher dry extract for a white wine in the 22, 23 gram range. We found that when we sent some of this to England, for some reason, when you export to England, you must test your dry extract. Nowhere else in the world requires this, but so we had to get it tested, and we found that we had 24 grams of dry extract, which is incredibly high for a white wine, and that's where you get all that mouthfeel and texture from. And that's what helps balance acidity. So although the acidity is screamingly high, and the pH is high as well, pH is low, meaning
Yeah.
high acidity. Because we have all this dry extract, that actually helps balance that acidity, and we don't need as much sugar as you would say in a German style Riesling,
Mhm.
which generally will have 15, 20, 25, 30 grams as you go up that Predicat scale. So somehow the chemistry makes no sense, but the wine makes sense every year. So we don't really test it anymore. We just know that it's going to balance. And then we just test it when we're going through VQA. But I've sort of given up on caring about the science behind it, and really gotten into the art of, okay, when do we pick this wine? You know, we walk, myself and my team, we walk the vineyard, every day when we're leading up to picking. And I think that's the most important decision on this wine, or on any wine that we make, is when we pick it. We can't put it back on the vine once we've made a decision, and we can't pick 5 days ago if we missed the window. So I think
So true.
the most important thing a winemaker does is taste their grapes, and then make that decision to pick the wine to pick the grapes with a wine in mind, with a style and with purpose. And if you can achieve that as a winemaker, then you're already snowballing in the right direction to make really good wine. The old vines planted in 1978, so some of the oldest vinifera in Canada. It's often effortless. It's not. Sure, there is a human element. There's a human factor to making that picking decision and then making sure the ferment goes well, but it can only come from that one place, which makes it special. It tastes different to the Sperling vineyard, which is, you can almost throw a stone from my vineyard to the Sperling vineyard. It tastes different to St. Albertus. Both of those are great wines, but they are different. And
They are.
so I think what makes it so unique and special is that one little piece of dirt that these old vines are on, and it's a pleasure to be their current custodian.
I mean, this is amazing. And David, I think we share a true love for the Pan Canadian movement right now. And I know that you have some wonderful friendship on the eastern part of the country as well. And because I know you and Ilya Senchuk have connected multiple times, and you've done some stuff this year, in this challenging year, where lots of our people went down south in Washington State. You went to Ontario, and you did some stuff with our colleague in Ontario. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I know that our members are dying to hear about that story.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, we had no grapes this year. No one did, or so little that it was inconsequential. And so my approach was, I don't want to lay anyone off. I don't want to lose any jobs out of our company. So to achieve that, we need wine to sell. We have wine to sell right now still from British Columbia, because our cycle is a 36-month cycle of growing, harvesting, bottling, and then releasing and selling. And so currently we have plenty of wine, but a year from now, 2 years from now, we could see that we're going to have a major shortfall, to the point of actually at some stage having zero wine. And that's not good for a winery. So we decided that we were going to purchase grapes from out of province. And then we had to have a really good think about why we're doing it, where it's coming from, what relationships we're going to lean on, what connections we want to have, and therefore what story would be there. Tantalus has always had a wonderful story, and we don't want to just suddenly get the cheapest grapes we can find off in Washington and just make commodity wine. We want to make wine with purpose. So I really wanted a cross-Canadian story. We're a Canadian wine company, and there's plenty of really good wine out in Ontario. And so why not lean on our neighbors? Well, not really neighbors. There's a large piece of country in between us, but lean on our fellow countrymen and get some juice from there. So I really love Chardonnay and Riesling from Ontario, so that's what I decided to make from there. And my current vineyard manager had come from, had spent 10 years out in Ontario. He had a lot of good contacts, as did I. And so we got friends to help us squeeze the juice. We found awesome single vineyards, some old 1978 plantings of Riesling of the same clone that we have here. I felt that there's more similarity in style in Ontario Riesling to what we do than, say, what you do in Washington or Oregon. Washington and Oregon, the clones down there are more towards the Alsace.
Mhm.
Ours are a Northern Rheingau German clone, as they are over in Niagara for
In
the most
Niagara
part.
too, right?
So 21B. So yeah, we decided to do that. So we got Picone Vineyard, which was really fun to work with.
Did you work with Mark Pist? Did you work with Mark Pister as well?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
and Grimsby Hillside Vineyard, we got the north and the south block of that. And so we're actually, for our flagship wine, we're blending those two vineyards, and the wine looks fantastic in tank. It is slightly different to what comes off the Tantalus property, but there's more similarities than differences. And then we got Chardonnay from Mio Vineyard, which is super cool. It's something that, I mean, I've known Thomas Batchelder for a long, long time, and he makes a lot of good Chardonnay out there. And so he was one of my first calls, and managed to share the Mio Vineyard with Thomas. And so we both picked on the same day. And I'm hoping maybe one of the I4Cs, probably not next year, but the year after, when the wine has been through its élevage and been in bottle for a year, maybe Thomas and I can do a side-by-side polemic or something
Mio.
like that.
We just got a couple cases of Mio Chard from Thomas.
Nice.
Arrived
Cool.
last week, the 22 vintage.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I just had a bottle of that last week. It's very good wine.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we decided for Pinot Noir, Rosé, and Pinot Gris, which we've never made before, to go to Oregon. So I used to work in Oregon in 2008. I did a vintage down in Oregon and have a lot of contacts from that vintage. And so I decided to go and get red. It was just a little far to try and get red out of Ontario and bring fresh grapes over here and make it.
Yeah.
It made sense for the juice to squeeze the juice, put it in a reefer and bring it over here. For the reds, I wanted to be a little closer. So it was about 14 hours door to door with a truck from Oregon. And actually one of my staff ended up doing a vintage at the winery that we were using to stage our fruit.
Okay.
So I had eyes on the fruit. I was down there for a month, making picking decisions and sending trucks and doing all the paperwork, etc. So it's very exciting. I mean, I'm looking at this as a unique and probably one-off opportunity. Obviously, we'd love to just be making wine off our own vineyard. That's the dream. But when it's not possible, and it is possible to do something else like this, what an interesting opportunity to work with some great colleagues and great single vineyards and make some really interesting wines that have the same thought process and purpose that our own wines would normally. So yeah, excited to bring those over the next 24 months into the market and hope that they're received well. They're all delicious, and the way we've set this up, we don't think that we'll need to raise prices, which is something else that we set out to do. Yeah. Every company will be different from British Columbia and how they approach these projects, but for us, we wanted these wines to reflect the single vineyards they came from, reflect our ethos, and also reflect our normal price point. We don't want to suddenly bang $20 a bottle on something just because it's from Oregon and cost us a little bit more to get it up here. In a way, they are shelf holders and placeholders, not because of the quality of the wine, but because we intend to rehabilitate our vineyard and be back to just Canadian wine from our own backyard. So yeah, it's fun.
That's fun. That's fun. That's a great story. I was dying to talk to you about that, and I know that it resonates a lot for our people. There's a lot of people from Ontario who are listening right now. We had a question earlier while you were talking about your Pan-Canadian relationship. Was Mira, can you please bring back about the sugar and the acidity. If you can bring that question back, please, will be greatly appreciated. Dean Corda, right here, Dave. It's right there. Is it the 23 gram of dry extract? It's per liter or per bottle?
Oh yeah, no. So pretty much always these things are measured per liter. So you've got 750 mils in a bottle, but when you're sending it off to a lab, they're usually only evaporating 100 mils, and then they extrapolate that out as a reading per liter.
Yeah.
Much like residual sugar is a grams per liter thing, not a grams per bottle.
Yeah, I'm reading here. Probably like Dean is probably a chemist, or there's something about chemistry with Dean here.
Yeah, no worries.
With these kind of questions,
everything in wine is always per liter, because obviously you've got you can be down at the piccolo level, you can be up at the magnum level or higher. And that would be very confusing to have those kinds of chemistry numbers not done on a standard measurement. So the standard measurement's always a liter.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Before I let you go on your Sunday night, David, I want to talk about, you were so involved, and you hinted about that earlier on. So involved on the appellation, on the division, on the east Kelowna slope. That's something that we were trailing a lot from Ontario. How Ontario have set up their sub appellation early on, and now we see them reap the effect of it. Now we're seeing more and more the Lincoln Lake Shore versus the Beamsville Bench versus like the St. David's Bench. These appellation means a lot now for the Ontario wine industry. And here in BC, we're starting to see it more and more. So, and you were very heavily involved in the last process. Can you tell us a little bit more, and what does it mean to you in Tantalus?
Oh, sorry, Carl. Just that last little bit you cut out there for me. Just what was the final piece of that question?
I just wanted to know. So the whole process of the sub appellation, you were very, very involved in getting the East Kelowna slope. Yeah. What does it mean to you, and what does it mean to Tantalus to finally get that? And now you guys can build on it and to make that very specific region known to the Canadian wine lovers, right?
Yeah, for sure. So it was really the some of the 21 reds, I think, from memory, got the sub appellation. Like by the time it had come through and you could actually use it. All the 21 whites from memory had gone to bottle and had already been labeled. So it really starts in 22, where you're seeing all of the wines from 22 that come from those sub appellations, the East Kelowna or the South Kelowna slopes wineries or vineyards starting to be put on bottles. So that's great. Then you get to the 23 wines. Again, we're just starting to build on that, and then we have nothing in 24 to be able to carry that on. What I hope it means in 10 years is a lot more than it means now. It was something we were looking to really start building on until we've now faced these challenges. It's all based on many factors: proximity to lake, elevation, soil types, aspect. We did a lot of study to really prove that it is different, and that all of those factors are significantly different to something else further south or across the lake or wherever up and down the Okanagan. And I think it's very important for a valley like the Okanagan, which is a north-south skinny little valley, and has incredibly differing terroir. Most wine regions, when you look around the world, are often sort of based around an epicenter and then go out from there. Say even Burgundy, it is a valley essentially, but it's not an extreme mountainous valley like we are, with turns and twists in this valley. And the parent material of the soil differs quite a lot up and down the Okanagan. The elevation, by the time you get down to Oliver Soyuz versus where I am, is quite different as well, quite significant. So we felt it was important at this stage, at sort of 35 years old of a region, essentially. I mean, it is a little older than that, but really starting to make world-class wines and plant these vinifera varieties in the mid-'80s across the board. to me, that's ground zero of really starting to become a world-class wine region. And once you get to this age, this teenage years, you've got to start defining what this region's going to be. When you look around the world of wine, you see specialization often in varieties, and that's going to be very tough for the Okanagan to do. I can't grow the Cabernet Franc and the Syrah that, say, Séverine at Le Verpen can grow. Equally, she can't grow the Riesling and the Pinot Noir I can grow. Both are valid, both are delicious. We're just in different places. And so it's going to be very, very difficult to have the Okanagan be a region of these two reds and two whites. I think that is a blessing and a curse for a wine region. It's very hard to go out and get huge international identity when there's so many different things that we do quite well, but not everyone does everything, and not everyone does the same thing. Where you look at, say, a Marlborough with Sauvignon Blanc or Hunter Valley with Semillon, there's a consistency across every company doing those things, and then they get critical mass and they can go out to the world of wine. I think where the Okanagan, the only place the Okanagan will ever thrive and compete is at the higher end as our vines get older and our quality of viticulture and winemaking gets better and better. We have this wonderful plethora of diversity and difference within our valley. So it doesn't matter whether you're a Cabernet drinker or a Gamay drinker, or you're a Chardonnay drinker or a Sauvignon Blanc drinker, you're going to be able to find something in the Okanagan that's at a very high level, which is unique to the world of wine. When you look around anywhere internationally, there's more specialization everywhere else than there will ever be able to be in the Okanagan. So it's something that I hope we lean in on more, and we can make these sub-appellations really mean something. So when you're getting a Pinot Noir or a Riesling from East Kelowna, the quality level you're expecting, doesn't matter which company it's coming from, and the style will be dictated by that sub-appellation being, giving those flavors consistently. Similar to the Golden Mile or Naramata or any of these other places around the Okanagan. As we see people lean into single vineyard and single area more and more, we'll see more and more of that showing through in everyone's wines. And I think Ontario is a great example. When you get a great Beamsville Bench wine, you can get it from 10 different companies and know that it's going to be of that Beamsville quality. Just pulling Beamsville out as an example, but all over Ontario, I think they're quite a bit ahead of us when it comes to defining those different spots.
And I think you're so bang on. And like the 20 Mile Bench is one of the greatest. That to me, it's the greatest example with the 20 Mile Bench Chardonnay. I think you can smell the 20 Mile Bench Chardonnay. Stylistically, you can define it among like 15 different Chardonnays, and that's where they are in their progression of sub-appellation. And I'm so happy that it's happening here now, and hopefully we can build on that. And Dave, thank you so much. I mean, it means a lot to us to have you on tonight talking about that old vine Riesling. Thank you very much. This is reveal number 3 of our 12 nights of different wines. So we had Benjamin Bridge on the first night with their reserve non-vintage. Jean-Benoit was with us last night. We had Malivoire on with their Courtenay Vineyard Gamay, and tonight this is you and your old vines Riesling. Thank you very, very much for your time today. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you so much, Carl. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a good one. We'll be in touch very soon. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers.
How cool is that?
Really cool. I mean, we're just so spoiled, so lucky to have amazing people like David stopping by and chatting with us at these lives.
I mean, this guy, when you talk about other winemaker in like across the country, very, 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 like, people have really high like praise for this guy. I'm so happy that we had him. I mean, he's a genius. He's so good. And so glad to have him explain a little bit more about what he does and the vines here. That's one of the very, very, very critical element of that wine. That's the 78 vines, right? And to me, that's what defines that wine. The layers and the complexity of that wine is very, very unique. And now I'm intrigued to know what our people know about the wines in their glass. If there's any of you guys who had that Old Vines Riesling from Tantalus open tonight, please.
Well, I know. I'm pretty sure that Jeff and Stacy have it open tonight. Stacy was talking about loving the mouthfeel. I'm pretty sure Louise has it open tonight. Hey, Louise. Karen had it just the other night, the 2020, though. This is the 2021 in the advent calendar. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. That's super fun to be able to taste this all kind of
93 plus points, Carl's Wine Club. I hope that the people will be happy with my score on this one. I mean, this is
the last two, which is great. That's what we want. People are emailing and saying you gave that too low of a score, so that's awesome.
I mean, hey, one of the harshest critics in the country, and he's known, like Anthony Gismondi. It's hard for Gismondi to give high score. He is really, really, really stiff on high score. And Gismondi gave it 94 points to that wine, and he said it's hard to expect better in terms of Riesling across the country. So I think Anthony had a really high praise for David's Riesling. And I agree with Anthony. That Riesling is one of the very best, right at the top there with some of the best vintage of Suan's Roberts Block, some of the best vintage of Cave Spring, hit like the top Ontario Riesling producer, where we thought like for a long time that Ontario produced some of the very best Riesling in the country. But don't forget about the East Kelowna slopes and Tantalus Vineyard, one of the very best Riesling producer that we have in our country. So really happy here on reveal number 3, our third night.
I have to say one more thing, that it's just so cool to hear about the harvest plans, knowing that there's very little grapes in BC this year anywhere, and to hear that they've been working with some of these vineyards that we love so much in Ontario. It just warms my heart. It's going to be so interesting.
Well, I mean, this validates what we're doing, right? Okay, here's the names that we pull out here. The Picon Vineyard. Like, we've tasted many wines from the Picon, especially from Fogalar. Mark Pister worked with Picon Vineyard for a while. I have a vertical of Picon Vineyard Cap Franc down here. Like, I have 7 years of Picon Vineyard down there in the library. So that is really cool. He's mentioning Mio chard that we've discovered lately. Amazing chard.
Daryl picked up on the hints, so we got to be
careful. I know. I saw that right away. But
he doesn't know which one, so he's going to be out feeling the bottles. To see
looking at the temperature chart, and like, okay, now I bet I'm getting a text in the next few hours with some guess in there. My answer will probably be the same. I think I forgot. I'm not sure.
This is our first time doing this, you guys, but we need your feedback for next year, because I think it's a keeper. Like, I think it's been way too much fun. And imagine if we did this next year, we got some sponsors to give us prizes, and then people who guess, first or something get like a prize or something. That'd be kind of fun.
Mira, I really have to run. I have a 8 years old who's practicing tonight for a development spring team.
Right. I have that same 8-year-old. Can you imagine?
Yeah. I said we have you. When I say we, I mean you and me. But he's at the arena up there on his own, and he's finishing the practice with all of the elite of the Okanagan. It's his first time there. So
that's so awesome, Louise. I love that. And yes, Stacy and Jeff sound like they're in for next year. So let's take mental notes. Give us your feedback. So
well, it's not only that. If you have a friend, anyone who's listening, and they have a friend who are really into Canadian wines, and you think they want to jump in, we have another 4. They're already packed. They're already in boxes. They're ready to.
Last night. from Vancouver. So maybe like 3, but still, there's a few.
Vancouver or Calgary? Yeah, but they're ready to be.
Calgary.
But they're ready to be dropped off at Purolator tomorrow morning. If someone wants to jump in, I mean, that can be done quick.
And then the fun thing is, I know Louise is having fun with this. You can build your own pack at the end of this. So if you want to say like, oh, I really liked this one, I will get like three more bottles of it. And then for tomorrow, I'll get one of those. And, you know,
Mira, I'll let you finish, okay, with our amazing listener. Guys, I'm bolting. I have to go. Mira, you finish, and I'll talk to you in a little bit, okay?
Perfect. We'll see you soon.
Canadian Wine Lovers, thank you for listening to us. It was an awesome interview with David Pedersen from Tantalus. Okay, you're in good hands with Mira. Thanks, everyone.
Woo! Cheers, Carl. Yes. So what is this? It's our nightly draw, and
Do you kick me out, or I kick myself out?
Oh, I'll kick you out. I'll kick you out.
Good, babe.
Yes. There we go. Yeah, so I think I got everyone that's commented in here. Instagram, you guys have been quiet tonight, but I do see you all. So if you want to leave a comment real quick, I'll add your name to this draw. It is for 2 jellies that Lone Wolf, I think it's called Lone Willow jellies, made for us out of the Chardonnays that were left over. We opened 112 Chardonnays, if you guys remember that, back at the end of May. And we had people over, we had members over, we retasted them over 3 days, and then we still had Chardonnay left. So we made it into these awesome jellies. And they actually taste great. They're great on charcuterie boards, on muffins, on toast. So you can be a true wine geek, and you don't just have jam, you have Chardonnay jam. So anyway, we'll ship you out 2 nice jars of that. That's what the draw is for here. Oh, John, I got to add you to there. Love the yelling in the background. Yeah, he's yelling as he's going out the front door there. Okay, I'm adding John's name, and then I'm going to do the draw for the Chardonnay jellies. Whoop. Last night, Marilyn tuned in for the first time. Really great to meet you, Marilyn. And she won the Enovino Wine Aerator, which is super cool. So congrats to her. Daryl won our first night. Yeah, so it's kind of fun to have prizes every night, I think. Boom. Woo! Karen. Nice. Karen Hall, I think in BC. Karen, you won the jellies. So I'm going to drop those in the mail for you. I'll send you a note after. Congrats. Woohoo. Awesome. So yeah, thanks so much for stopping by, you guys. I know some of you are building mixed cases as we go along, as we reveal different wines. One strikes your fancy. So you're welcome to go ahead and reserve them right off the bat. Like you can buy them on the website, use the code ADVENT, and then you'll get free shipping, and we'll know to package them all together for you at the end of the Advent calendar reveals. Or you can also just hit reply on any of our emails and say, Carl, save me 2 of the Tantalus, or save me 1 of the Benjamin Bridge, or what have you. And then what's going to happen is we're going to finish the reveals with a big bang on the 24th of December. Everyone will take a couple days off, you know, have the turkey, sit around, drink lots of wine, have fun. On the 27th, we're going to get in touch with you and confirm, hey, these are all the wines that you reserved. Make sure we get that shipped out right to you. So it'll be a fun way to kick off the new year with some really awesome new discoveries that you can share with friends. Is there a link I could send to my brother if he wants to get this box? Yeah, so it was in the email that just went out today. And if you go to our website at the top, it says Advent Calendar. It's there. So I'll just put it in the chat too, so you can maybe grab that link. But yes, that's awesome. Your brother's in Calgary. You know, we were in Calgary for a long time. That's where I actually met Carl. And we only moved to the Okanagan 3 years ago after we started Carl's Wine Club. So It's been fabulous to see you guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. Happy Wine Sunday, because, you know, we do Wine Wednesday, but now it's like Wine Thursday, Wine Friday, Wine Saturday. Happy Wine Sunday. Tomorrow we'll be back with reveal number, we're on number 5 now, right? Yeah, we're keeping count on these. So we did 3 tonight, so tomorrow will be 4. Yes. I don't know if Daryl already has some hints for us from feeling around on the bottle. It's one of the ones Carl packed. It is a brown bag, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure another live interview. If not, we'll pre-record it just before if the winemaker can't be on right at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. But we will be here with you guys. It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Daryl, yes, the Pan-Canadian Wine Masterclass, June 21st in Niagara. It is 3rd on my list right here to do accommodations and more details for everyone that has already bought their tickets for that, because that's how big of a wine nerds we are, is that we're planning our wine getaway in Niagara like 7 months in advance. I think that's great. So one of the places we wanted to get, Daryl, is only taking bookings as of January 1st, but that's coming right around the corner. So I think what I want to do is, for people that are interested in sharing Airbnbs, I will send some options and we'll make sure we get that firmed up. So it'll be great to have that all sorted out, right? Because once we know what our base is, we know what the distances. Daryl can do all his mapping and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure. So it'll be great. Woo! That's awesome. Cheers, guys. Happy rest of your evening. We'll see you guys tomorrow.